So it's about -5 degrees Celsius, 7:30 in the morning, and I'm in snowy Hokkaido in Japan. So Hokkaido is the northern island in the Japanese peninsula, and we came here primarily to shoot the incredible landscapes of the interior, where you've got these rolling hills and really beautiful minimalist scenes. But our first stop has been here at this incredible torii gate in a place called Shosanbetsu. So this is a shrine built on the edge of the ocean. We came here last night to photograph it, but we had really bright skies, very, very harsh scene. There was no snow here, and it really didn't work, but it snowed overnight. This morning we got this wonderful dusting of snow and these perfect heavy skies. Now for these kind of snowy scenes, I don't really want golden light and colorful sunsets. I actually prefer these dark, heavy, brooding clouds that we've got now, because they really help create this mood, and they sort of add to the snow. They sort of dark skies, white snow, contrasts really, really nice. So this morning we've had about an hour. We've just been moving around the torii gate, finding different angles, just shooting it from different sides. Shooting it straight on symmetrically works quite nice, but shooting it from the side, you get a slightly different angle. You get some of the snow that's piled on the side of the torii gate, and also just playing around with different exposures, some really, really long exposures to blur the water. But now I think we're pretty much done. It's been a really wonderful, productive morning. We're going to go back to the hotel, have breakfast, and then head to the next place. So we came to Hokkaido because in the winter it's covered in a few meters of snow. You can see here this landscape behind me. It's just absolutely blanketed in powder, which gives this incredible minimalist scenes. And I've always been quite drawn to simplicity and minimalism in a lot of my photography, but it's often quite hard to do because landscapes by their very nature are chaotic. There's just so much going on in any given scene, messy foregrounds, just so much in any scene that you stand in front of. There's so much snow here that the snow actually simplifies the landscape by covering everything in this blanket of white. It makes it much simpler and cleaner to shoot. You've got far fewer distractions, far fewer things competing for your attention. So what we've been doing is just driving around Biei, which is the part of Hokkaido that we're in, looking for simple elements, single trees on hills, things like that, which really work in minimal landscapes. And I've talked before about whenever you're shooting landscapes, you're trying to find the essence of a scene, you're trying to distill everything that you see in front of you down to one single frame, and pretty much that's what Hokkaido is. You've got these rolling hills with these single trees or groups of trees standing on top of the hills. And at this time of year with all this snow, that just creates incredibly clean, minimalist images. And what we're also finding is this time of year is that the cloudy skies really add a lot of mood. So we've been kind of hoping for overcast skies because that just gives you this very monochromatic palette to work with. It's not really a landscape of golden light and sunrises and sunsets. It doesn't really work like that. It feels much better. This is the kind of landscape that you feel should be monochromatic, just very simple colors, whites and blues. So heavy clouds, cloudy weather works really well, particularly when it's snowing. So compositionally, when you're in a place where you're working with just a single element, what you're going to have is a lot of negative space. The snow here, the foreground, is negative space. The sky is also negative space. And that has a lot of compositional weight. Whenever I set my camera up to compose, there's a temptation to put the subject, to put it right in the middle and put the horizon across the middle and have a very symmetrical scene. But with such a limited scene, with such minimalism, that's not necessarily the most interesting way of composing. So what I've been doing is trying to move the subject around the frame, putting it in the bottom left corner, put it in the bottom right corner, put it in the top and have lots of negative space below, or put it right on the bottom of the frame and have lots of negative space in the sky above. Also just using different focal lengths, getting it a little bit wider to get a lot of the context, or just zooming in to crop tighter, so that when I get home, we're going to have a lot of compositions and I'll be able to decide which one that I like best.
So here are three slightly different images of the same tree. The first one is centered, but I also shot it off center, I shot it vertically, and I think this one is my favorite, as a negative space to the right does work to balance the tree, gives the image a little bit of harmony. Sometimes though, the center composition did work. I preferred it in these two images, and it's hard to say why. It's just something that I felt after living with the different compositions for a few days after the trip, just kind of gravitating towards the compositions that just felt right to me.
Now, occasionally I have tried to include other elements in the scene. Sometimes you'll find some twigs or sticks that kind of stick through the snow, and I've been trying to use them to balance with the subject, putting them on parts of the frame where it feels like there's some harmony and some balance. But for the most part, it's just been having a single element, one thing in a composition, and keeping it really, really simple. One of the things that we've discovered about Hokkaido is that you're very limited to where you can and can't go. All of the farmland here is private and they don't allow you to walk on it. So most of the shots that you do have to be kind of from the roadside, which does limit your composition a little bit, but at the same time it means that all of these wonderful scenes have got no footprints around them. The landscapes here are completely pristine because people aren't allowed to walk there or ski there or go there with snowmobiles. So while it can be a little bit frustrating because you see these scenes that you really want to kind of walk up a hill and get a slightly different elevation and you're not allowed to, it does mean that you get very, very clean compositions with no footprints and no kind of mess in the snow. It's also incredibly cold here. The temperatures are regularly -20 or even colder, but fortunately there's no wind to kind of really cut into you. It's just cold. So as long as you've got lots of layers on, you're good. But we've been spending the entire day out shooting. We're out from pretty much from first light until last light. So by the end of the day, you're pretty tired after standing around in the cold all day. And then of course there's the snow. Throughout the day, we regularly get big clouds come along and dump snowfall on us, which is nice because it makes the scenes much more minimal, but you kind of have to work out how you're going to compose for that. So I've been doing different things. I've been kind of increasing the ISO to be able to get faster shutter speeds, something like about 1/100, 1/120, which allows me to freeze the snowflakes a little bit, or just using slightly more regular shutter speeds like 1/10, 1/20. Where you get the snow blurring through the image. And of course, working in the snow, the camera, the lens, it's all weather sealed, but you do have to be careful because snowflakes do settle on the front element and then they turn into water drops, which of course you're going to see on the image when you look at it on the screen, even if you can't necessarily see it through the viewfinder or on the LCD screen.
It wasn't just minimal lone trees while we were in Hokkaido. We did spend some time in other parts of the island, around the fishing ports, and also down in Lake Toyo, where I shot this pier image, as well as having an incredible morning at this lake where the rising sun backlit the trees and the mist on the water.
So that's it for Hokkaido. It's been a really, really fantastic trip. I've really enjoyed being in this country. Really enjoyed the culture, the incredible people here. It really is a wonderful place to spend time, and I'm really excited about going back home and seeing the images. But before we go home, I'm gonna head to Tokyo for a few days and spend some time there doing street photography. I really want to do some time in the streets at night, shooting the neon signs. But for Hokkaido, for this video, that's it. So I hope it's been interesting. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. It really does help the channel. And if you enjoy my photography and you'd like to join me on a trip like this, I run workshops all over the world. We'll be coming back to Hokkaido next year. We've got workshops in Namibia, in Utah, in the Azores, in Madeira. So you can find all the information on all my workshops on my website. So check that out and get back to me if you have any questions. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. Good luck with all your photography and I'll see you next time. Take care.